Hi, this is Jim Sinesco for AFC International, and today, yes, a little slow day for me, but I always like slow days because I get to play around with some instrumentation. And today I'm testing again on the AccuSense instrument. AccuSense is that portable GC type based instrument, and today I have it hooked up with a PID up here as well, so I'm actually getting a feed from the PID, but I'm actually using this can here to administer some samples. I've been running acetone samples, and I use a small micro syringe to go ahead and introduce those samples into the can. The can is just to use so I don't get that chemical up and into the office here, but also to concentrate it in that can. So I'm using very, very small concentrations of that. And of course the AccuSense cycle is about 3.5 minutes. It will then pulls its sample, then we'll go ahead and do the analysis, and then we'll get some readings. And second thing I've got is I got it actually hooked up to our network here at the office. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to walk up front through our beautiful office and come through the galley here. Come around. There's our AccuFit testers there. And we come around, and over here we have our computer, the GUI, we call it, which has got the SEER ID software running. And you can see when I first introduced that acetone, the first sample, and you can see right about 154, I had concentration of 84 ppm acetone. Now, obviously the instrument didn't know it was acetone. I knew it was, so I went ahead and injected it, and we got the concentration of 84 part per million. And then as we step through the next sample, obviously that acetone is vaporizing off and getting higher concentration as it warms up in that can, 156. The next sample, again, 156. Next sample, 124. So it kind of peaked off. Now we're at 108. So every 3 minutes, this instrument is taking a sample. So I'm pulling the concentration. So the concentrations will start to drop. The next one was 83. And then I decided to introduce some benzene into the concentration of the can. So here's my last acetone, then I added some benzene, and this is where the real magic of the AccuSense is. Look at that. I've added the benzene. I put in about 2 microliters, which is quite a bit, and you can see initial sample was right around 53 part per million benzene and 61 part per million acetone. Yep. The AccuSense can separate these two chemicals and do it continuously. So if you continue to go down, the next sample was 81, so that benzene is warming up as the acetone is coming back down, and then 63.48, and then 54.41. So pretty cool, and it goes on for several minutes here as we go through, and we can see all the different samples that we did. So as that benzene is increasing and then it hits its peak, the acetone is also slowly going on, and it gives a very clear indication. Now the purple color means that we're really high over the permissible exposure limit. When you look at the acetone, we're down below the first really mark for the time-weighted average. So the first one's time-weighted average, and then we got the ideal H marks there. So at 54 benzene, that's quite a bit. And then for 41 acetone, not a big deal. So we have a very high concentration of benzene compared to acetone, and that AccuSense is able to separate and continuously pull a sample. So if that didn't have that can and we're in an environment, let's say a plant or a chemical plant or an area, an emergency response, the AccuSense would continue to be pulling its sample from the ambient air around it. Again, I'm using the can only to concentrate. Another thing I wanted to show you, this is another really cool new thing that we've added to the SEER ID. So you might be familiar with above the line, below the line, they're called the Hazmat IQ. Now Hazmat IQ is a program that I believe it's Federal Resources has purchased, and they go out and market, and it talks about ways for fire responders and first responders to somehow slowly go through in a very methodical method to come up with not only protection of a chemical, but the identification of the chemical and how to handle it as you go through a response or cleanup situation. We have added that entire program into the SEER ID. So all I have to do is hit that 2. You see where the 2 is? I hit the 2, and it will go ahead and open up the link to the Hazmat IQ. And right away, it shows right here that it's the B-Tex. So it's play number 2 for benzene, and play number 2 is basically like a football play. What would we do to mitigate the hazard, and what should we look for in anything in that play number 2? And you see B-Tex components, benzene being one of them, and it goes down the line, and it talks about the LEL. Is it a flammable problem? Yes. Could you use your temp gun for flashpoint? Yes, you could. Is it a toxic material? Yes. PID will see it. FID will see it. And it goes down through here. Yes, detector tubes or chips are available. What will happen to KI paper, and so on and so forth. So it goes on and gives you more plays and things to do. But I just wanted to show you that because this is really, really critical. Not only can we do the separations and identify and quantify hazards, we can now give you a play-by-play connection to the Hazmat IQ, which will help you mitigate and respond, and then also use other devices like PIDs and things that now that you know what it is, you can actually use them more effectively. And that's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and click back to the instrument readings. The other thing too in here is we have a connection to the NIOSH Pocket Guide. I can click on that benzene and look at that. It pops up the CDC's guide, and it'll tell me all the chemical properties and information that I need to know from a health and safety perspective. So anyway, some major improvements. Now we've always had this particular link, but definitely that Hazmat IQ link is a big one. I think they'll help make this instrument more useful. And then last but not least, we've added a little bit of an accessories tab, and I have a PID connected to it, and it actually will give me readings for the PID. I don't have this one connected right up now, but it would give me the actual PID readings minute by minute as the instrument is working. So not only do I have the AccuSense and what it can do, quantify and identify, I can use then a PID connected to it and just leave everything out in the field and let that information come back through a wireless network, or in this case, a Cat5 network cable. Anyway, I know I went a little long on this. This is Jim on a Friday afternoon. Have a wonderful day. If you want more information about the AccuSense and the chemicals you can see and what it can do, give us a call at 800-952-3293. This last revision on the AccuSense CRID is, I think, a killer, and is really a great applications help for many different toxic chemicals. And so give us a call. Jim Sinesco, AFC. Have a great weekend. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.